You're 40 years old. Stop and think for 1 second. How much do you actually have right now?
The median 40-year-old in America has about $154,000 in their retirement account. The average is $370,000. Is your number higher or lower? Today, we are going to go through every single number, net worth, savings, debt, home equity, and figure out exactly where the average 40-year-old stands in 2026. And at the end, 5 specific things you can do this week to move the needle. All data is from Empower, Fidelity, and the Federal Reserve, updated for 2026. Let's go. Chapter 1, Net Worth. This is the only number that truly tells you how financially healthy you are. Not your salary, not your home price, your net worth. Net worth is simple. Everything you own minus everything you owe. Your cash, investments, home equity, retirement accounts, minus your mortgage, car loans, credit cards, student loans. According to Empower's January 2026 data, the average net worth for Americans in their 40s is $750,578. That sounds impressive, but we need to talk about why that number is almost misleading. Averages get destroyed by outliers. If 9 people have $100,000 and 1 person has $6 million, the average in that room is $690,000. But the typical person only has $100,000. The median net worth for 40-somethings is closer to $180,000. The median is the number right in the middle, the one that actually represents most people. Here's how it really breaks down. Bottom 50% of 40-year-olds, net worth under $40,000. Middle group, between $200,000 and $400,000. Top 10%, over $1 million. Now, what should your net worth be at 40? There is a classic formula. Multiply your age by your annual salary, then divide by 10. A 40-year-old earning $75,000 a year should have a net worth of $300,000 by this formula. At $100,000 salary, your target is $400,000. This isn't a perfect formula. It doesn't account for a late start or career gaps, but it gives you a compass, a starting point to see where you are on the map. Action step 1, calculate your net worth today. List every asset, list every debt, subtract. Use the free Empower Personal Dashboard, link in the description, takes 10 minutes. Chapter 2, Retirement Savings. This is the number that will decide whether you retire with dignity at 65 or whether you are forced to keep working into your 70s. The median retirement savings for Americans in their 40s right now is $208,390. That's according to Empower's January 2026 data. The average is $573,660. Remember, the average is pulled up by high savers. The median is where most people actually are. And $208,000 in your 40s? Is that enough? Let's find out. Fidelity, one of the world's largest retirement managers, uses a salary multiplier benchmark. By age 40, you should have approximately 3 times your annual salary saved. 3 times your salary. If you earn $50,000, you need $150,000 saved by 40. At $75,000, you need $225,000. At $100,000, you need $300,000. Here's where most people panic. They see this number and think, I'm behind, I'm done. But this is wrong thinking, and I'll show you why compound interest changes everything. You have 25 years until traditional retirement age. At an average 8% annual return, which is the historical S&P 500 average, every $1,000 you invest today becomes $7,612 at age 67. $10,000 invested today becomes $76,000 by 67. $50,000 becomes $380,000. This is not magic, this is math. And time is the ingredient that makes it work. But here is the painful flip side. Every year you wait, every year money sits in a 0% savings account instead of invested. That is future growth you are permanently losing. In 2026, the IRS allows you to contribute up to $24,500 per year into a 401k if you're under 50. That is your maximum tax-advantaged annual contribution. If your employer offers a matching contribution and you are not contributing at least enough to capture the full match, you are turning down free money. Literally free money. The 401k employer match is a guaranteed 50% to 100% return on that money. No stock in the world reliably gives you that. It is the single best guaranteed investment available to you. According to the Federal Reserve, only 35% of Americans feel on track for retirement. 65% feel behind. If that's you, you are the majority. You are not alone in this. Action step 2. Log into your 401k right now. Check your contribution rate. If you're not capturing the full employer match, increase it today. Even 1% more changes the math dramatically. Chapter 3. Debt. The invisible hand reaching into your net worth every single month and pulling it down. And at 40, most Americans are carrying more of it than they realize. The average 40-year-old carries multiple debt types simultaneously. The mortgage is usually the largest, and that is generally okay because the home is also an asset. The others are the problem. Credit card debt is the most destructive force in personal finance for the average American. The average interest rate right now is above 20%, and the average 40-year-old carries between $7,000 and $9,000. If you carry $7,000 at 20% and only pay the minimum, you will spend over 18 years paying it off and pay more than $8,000 in interest alone. You pay for that purchase twice. Here's the reframe that changes how you think about this. Paying off a credit card at 20% interest is a guaranteed 20% return on your money. No investment reliably beats that. There are 2 proven payoff strategies. The avalanche method. Pay off your highest interest debt first. This saves the most money mathematically. The snowball. Smallest balance first. Builds momentum. More than 1 in 4 Gen X workers, that's the 40-year-old demographic right now, has an outstanding loan against their 401k, according to Fidelity's Q4 2025 data. This is a trap. When you borrow from your 401k, that money stops compounding in the market. And if you leave your job, you may have to repay the full amount within 60 days, or it becomes a taxable distribution with a 10% penalty. Here is the debt priority order that financial planners recommend. First, credit cards, anything above 15%. Second, personal loans. Third, car loans. Fourth, student loans. Fifth, mortgage, last. Action step 3. List every debt with its interest rate right now. Attack the highest rate first. Automate 1 extra payment this month. Even $50 extra per month changes the math over time. Chapter 4. Cash savings in the emergency fund. Not your retirement account, actual liquid money you can access tomorrow without penalty. This is what protects everything else. The Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances shows that the median American household has about $8,000 in their checking and savings combined. $8,000. Bankrate's 2026 Emergency Savings Report found that 54% of American adults cannot cover 3 months of expenses from savings. More than half the country has no real financial cushion. Here is why this matters so much. Without an emergency fund, any unexpected expense forces you onto a credit card at 20% interest, which slows your retirement savings, which shrinks your net worth. The standard recommendation is 3 to 6 months of expenses in liquid savings. If your monthly expenses are $4,000, your target emergency fund is between $12,000 and $24,000. And the great news in 2026, high-yield savings accounts at online banks are paying between 4.5 and 5% interest. Ally, Marcus, SoFi, all FDIC insured. Same protection, much better return. On a $20,000 emergency fund, a traditional bank gives you $2 a year in interest. A high-yield savings account at 4.8% gives you $960. Same money, same safety. Action step 4. Open a high-yield savings account if you don't already have one. Transfer your emergency fund there. Then automate a monthly transfer, even $200 a month, until you hit your 3-month target.
Chapter 5. Home Equity. For most 40-year-olds who own a home, this is their single largest asset. And it's the one most often forgotten when people calculate their financial picture. Home equity is your home's current market value minus the mortgage balance you still owe. If your home is worth $400,000 and your mortgage balance is $250,000, your equity is $150,000. The median existing home price in January 2026 was $400,500, according to Kiplinger and the National Association of Realtors. Of course, San Francisco and Kansas City are very different conversations. Home values have increased significantly over the past 5 years. Many 40-year-olds who bought before 2020 have more equity than they realize, even if it doesn't feel like money you can touch. Important caveat: home equity is illiquid. You cannot pay your grocery bill with it. It's a long-term wealth builder, not a substitute for your emergency fund. Never confuse the two. Common question at 40. Should I pay off my mortgage faster? If your mortgage rate is below 6%, the math generally favors investing the difference. The S&P 500 has averaged 8 to 10% annually. We've covered all the major numbers, now let's put it together. I've broken the financial reality of 40-year-olds into 5 levels. Find yourself on this pyramid, honestly. Level 1, the stress zone. Net worth under $50,000 or negative. Retirement savings below $50,000. Possibly high-interest debt draining cash monthly. If this is you, you are not a failure. You are the statistical bottom third. Level 2, the rebuilding zone. Net worth between $50,000 and $200,000. Some savings, some debt, maybe a starter home. Some foundation, but debt is still a drag. This is where most Americans in their 40s live. Level 3, on track. Net worth between $200,000 and $500,000. Retirement savings hitting the Fidelity 3-times salary benchmark. Debt is manageable. Emergency fund exists. You're doing the right things. Now accelerate. Level 4, ahead of the curve. Net worth between $500,000 and $1 million. Retirement savings between $350,000 and $700,000. You're well ahead of most Americans your age. Compound interest is becoming your teammate. Level 5, financial independence zone. Net worth above $1 million. Retirement savings above $700,000. Retiring before 65 is realistic. Your money is now working harder than you are. Here's the most important thing I want you to take from this section. Don't compare yourself to level 5 and feel defeated. Compare yourself to where you were 1 year ago. That is the only race that matters. You have the data. You know where the average 40-year-old stands. Now, the 5 highest impact moves you can make in your 40s. Ranked by return on your time and money. Move 1. Capture the full 401k employer match. I keep saying this because it keeps being the most skipped step. A guaranteed 50 to 100% instant return. Do this before anything else. Move 2. Move your savings to a high-yield savings account. This is a 10-minute task. Ally, Marcus, SoFi, all paying 4.5 to 5% right now. Your emergency fund should be earning money while it protects you. Move 3. Attack your highest interest debt with a payoff plan and automate it. Even $50 extra per month, added automatically, changes the total interest you pay by thousands. Move 4. Increase your 401k contribution by just 1% of your salary. On a $75,000 salary, that's $60 a month. But at 8% compound growth over 25 years, that 1% adds roughly $70,000 to your retirement. Move 5. Open a Roth IRA if you qualify. In 2026, you can contribute up to $7,000 per year. The Roth grows tax-free, and you pay 0 taxes on withdrawals in retirement. It is the most powerful tax-free vehicle available to most people. The whiteboard now has 5 moves. Each one is legal, available to you right now, and does not require being wealthy to start. The only requirement is starting. Action step 5. Pick one of these 5 moves and do it today. Not tomorrow. Today. Log into your 401k. Open the HISA. Make one extra debt payment. Write it in the comments. Which one are you starting with? Before we close, a perspective that most finance channels skip. Because the goal of this video was never to make you feel bad. It was to make you feel informed. Those are very different things. 65% of Americans feel behind on retirement. If that's you, you are the majority. And the fact that you watched this entire video, did the math, asked the questions, puts you ahead of most people who never look at these numbers at all. You have 25 years until traditional retirement age. At 8% annual return, money roughly doubles every 9 years. You could still triple what you have right now if you start today. The difference between a comfortable retirement and a stressed one is almost never one big dramatic decision. It's a series of small, consistent choices made in your 40s. Saving 1% more. One extra debt payment. Moving to a HISA. The best time to have started was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. You know your numbers, you have a plan. The only thing left is the first step. If this video gave you clarity, hit the like button. It helps this channel reach more people who need this exact information. And subscribe if you want more data-driven, no-fluff financial content every week. Drop in the comments right now. Which level are you at? And which of the 5 action steps are you starting with today? I read every single comment. No judgment. This is a safe space. All data sources are linked in the description. Empower, Fidelity, Kiplinger, NerdWallet. All free. All worth 5 minutes of your time. See you in the next one.